All right, peace to the gods and goddesses, kings and queens, emperors and empresses, chiefs and chiefs, and priests and priests of the motherfucking land. I hope you're having a great cosmic rising or a great cosmic night, depending on when you catch or see this video. Um, this video right here. Hold on, let me come back out real quick so y'all can see the title. I'm reacting to this video because this video is very, very relevant to what's going on right now. Amongst America, it's and especially right now in Mississippi. You know, there's been in the past, just in the past month alone, bro, black people have been coming up missing and found. They say, oh, another black person hanged themselves. How, nigga? Anyways, shout out to the brother right here. I love this type of content. I just wanted to, react to this video and put this video out there for y'all, myself. And like I said, I wanted to, here's the brother right here. His shit just came across my shit. And he earned my subscribe. I ain't watched too much of it. I ain't watched the whole thing. I just watched a good little bit of it. I'm like, oh yeah, this one of the ones. You feel me? And once again, rest in peace to Nolan Wells, and rest in peace to the sister that was found hanging. Hold on, because I think somebody dropped the name in the comments or some shit, bro. Hold on. Tamala Hosford. And I think that might be the sister that was found hanging. The black sister in Jackson, Mississippi. And it's crazy, bro. Like, I lived in Mississippi for 12 years of my life. 12 years a slave. But I lived in Mississippi for 12 years of my life, bro. 11, 12 years right up in there. And I from my own personal experience with the white people there, they are fucking horrible, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not all of them, because I did have one white friend, by the name of Dylan, and we was like this. His mom, treated me as if I was her own son. So not all of them, but majority of them is. Y'all know how it go. It's only one good white person out of 1,000 of them, bro. And I just happen to be the nigga that always got the luck to come across these kind of white people. That's why I always tell you, not all of them fucked up, but majority of them is. And the school, when I lived in Mississippi, at first I was going to an all-black school. And then, my mom wanted to move away from the hood and shit to where all the white folks was. And then now I'm in mainly a predominantly white school. And, them kids be taught racism. Like I said, racism is not something that these people are born with. It's a behavior that is taught. And, like I said, to see all that shit going on in Mississippi right now with all these people being hanged down there, the Nolan Wells incident, bro. It's just like, damn, you dig? That could have been me at a young age at some point, or it could have been my mother. You feel me? Because, my mother was a single mother. So it's like I said, this video right here, we just gonna get straight into it, bro. This is a major message this is a major relative message to what is taking place right now, bro.
Back in 2017, Jordan Peele released what would become one of the most influential films.
And by the way, I am cooking some creamy black chicken rice, so I might get up and go check on my shit and you feel me? So don't mind me, y'all. I just want y'all to hear what the brother has to say. He is on point with this, bro. Shout out to this brother.
Of this modern era. Get Out. This is a psychological horror thriller that follows a young black man who accompanies his white girlfriend to spend a weekend with their wealthy family at their secluded country estate. What starts off as an awkward family visit slowly transforms into something far more disturbing. With everything happening with the political and cultural climate right now, this film feels relevant, and in some cases more than it did back in 2017. So in today's video, I'm gonna be breaking this movie down scene by scene, connecting its themes to real life examples while highlighting details and small things that you may have missed while watching it yourself. Get Out is one of those films that I've watched countless times, and every single time I watch it again, I pick up on something new. With that being said, no more talking. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's hop into it.
Hey, yeah. I ain't gonna lie, Get Out might be one of the best black films of all time, bro. Fuck all that other shit, Menace to Society and New Jack City and all that bull jungle. Nah, Get Out is one of the best black films of all time. I wish Jordan Peele could make something like, you know, I want him to make something like this again, bro. Like, you feel me? This shit was grease.
With a young brother walking through a suburban neighborhood late at night. As the film progresses, we later gain knowledge that his name was Andre. As he walks, a white scooter car slowly begins to approach him. Andre notices this and immediately decides to turn in the other direction. He then decides to cross the street. At the halfway mark, he's ambushed, sedated, and thrown into the back of the trunk. This opening scene immediately highlights a harsh reality for many black Americans. Black people in the United States go missing disproportionately at extremely high rates. Although black Americans make up only 13 to 14% of the US population, they consistently account for roughly 30 to 40% of missing person cases. This situation is more wild for black women and girls. For example, out of more than 260,000 women and girls reported missing in a single year, nearly 34% were black. Statistics like this raise.
And now y'all see why I go hard. I told y'all, nigga, I be telling y'all niggas, black women and black children are going missing at an alarming rate, bro. If you a black woman, you single, you know, especially if you a single mother, bro, like keep you something, a pole, you know what I'm talking about, a pole. You feel me? A samurai sword, keep something on you that can help take a motherfucker out if they try that on you, bro.
Questions of what is really going on in America. Earlier last month, an attempted kidnapping of a black girl was caught on camera.
A woman bound by handcuffs ran directly into the path of a truck driver in South Carolina. Then a man in a Cadillac pulled up between the woman and the truck.
He pulled up to me. He said, I'm with law enforcement. He showed me a badge like sideways. And he said, I'm with law enforcement, and she jumped out of my car.
According to an incident report from the Aiken County Sheriff's Department, the woman told police that the man drove up behind her while she was taking a walk and claimed to be an officer, took her phone and social security card, handcuffed her, and put her in the back seat of his car. She told police that she'd escaped through the driver's side door while he searched through the trunk. When the truck driver, Anthony Moore, approached the man, he drove away. Bystanders helped the woman get out of the cuffs. One asked if Moore's truck had captured the incident on video.
I said, oh man, I do have a dash cam in that truck. And by evening time, 7, 8 o'clock that evening, that video was shared over 200,000 times.
Authorities later arrested 39-year-old Jonathan.
Look at him. Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. They always come with a certain phenotype, bro. You can tell when some of these motherfuckers is just fucked up in the head, bro, towards our people, bro. And by the way, somebody said that wasn't a woman. That was a teenage girl. I don't know why the news did that, but that was a teenage girl, bro. And to you black women, stop going out in these areas where these people be at, taking walks and shit, and you feel me, with no weapon or nothing on you, because, bro, these people are like black people say it all the time. Oh, we live rent free in their head. We live rent free in their head. If y'all know that, y'all need to be protected up. So that way, if a motherfucker try you, you can knock that motherfucking head off their ass. Cause this nigga, like, bro, this nigga would get the worst from me. I wouldn't even see. I'm different. I wouldn't even smoke the nigga. I would torture this nigga. I'm talking about hours at a time. Y'all gotta understand. People be like, oh, that nigga deserved to die, and he deserved to die. No, he don't. He deserved to be tortured. I feel like death is too easy. It's too easy of a getaway card, what they call it, get out of jail card, get out of trouble card. I feel like it's too easy, bro, to just smoke a nigga like this. No, he needs to be tortured for hours on end, begging to die. You feel me? It's a straight cornball, bro.
On one count,
these people, these type of white people is cornballs. Because like I said, not all of them fucked up, but these kind is cornballs, bro.
And impersonating a law enforcement officer, according to the Associated Press. Aiken County Solicitor's Office told AP that Willard hadn't been assigned a defense attorney and a court date had not been scheduled yet.
Incidents like this are just reminders that I need all of us to stay vigilant. We're then introduced to the film's main character, Chris, a young black photographer living in New York City. He's intelligent, observant, and somewhat reserved, often keeping his thoughts to himself. We also meet his girlfriend, Rose. Early on, she comes off as caring, supportive, and deeply invested in Chris. She arrives at his apartment as they prepare to visit her parents for the weekend. While packing, Chris seems uneasy. Rose notices his discomfort and asks what's wrong. Chris admits that he's concerned about how her parents might react to their relationship. Specifically, he wonders if they know he's black. Rose responds by reassuring him that it isn't a big deal and her parents won't care. She even jokes that her father would have voted for Obama a third time if it was possible. She also mentions something key.
Anytime a white person say that, or you know the favorite go-to, that white people look, oh, my friends are black. My friends are black. Bro, no, they not. And if they is, it's probably one of them black people that like to hang. You feel me? It's probably one of them black people, bro.
That Chris is her first black boyfriend. I want you guys to remember that for later on. She continues to reassure him, saying that if her parents had any issue with him being black, she would have told him beforehand and wouldn't have even considered bringing him there. This exchange touches on a real concern that we see with many interracial couples. Me personally, I've never dated outside of my race. And shout out to my wife. She is a black woman. We have a beautiful family together. So everything I'm about to say is coming from a third person point of view. In some families, relationships are still judged based on race. A person may be blacklisted from the family if they bring home a black man or a black woman. In my opinion, it is extremely unfair to bring a black person into a hostile environment that you know exists. Whether that be at dinner conversations, them watching Fox News all day, the small things they mention on car rides. Becky knew her pops didn't like black people and she still brought you home. They then head to—
And that's another thing too. Like, why do these type of, that's why I be telling my brothers, like, bro, be careful messing with the, you got a lot of brothers out here, oh, I'm gonna give me a white woman, I'm gonna give me some a snow bunny, play in the snow. But bro, you got a lot of them that know. Like, I was talking to one of my homies, right? My homie Tonio. This was like a while back. And I was like, bro, would you ever, date a snow bunny? Me personally, no. I, get some throat and get the fuck out my face. You feel me? But personally, would I ever date or marry one? Have kids with one? Hell no, bro. Hell no. So it's like, I was talking to bro, he was like, hell nah. He was like, I'll never, and he said something very important that stuck with me to this day. He's like, bro, the reason why I would never date a white woman, because he's like, no matter what, he's like, somebody in her family is not gonna like me because of the color of my skin. He's like, the parents could even be cool, but it might be the auntie, it might be the uncle, it might be the grandparents. He's like, either way it go, somebody in that family is not gonna like me for the color of my skin. I'm like, damn, that is true.
Rose family's home, with Rose driving the car and Chris in the passenger seat. During the ride, Chris is seen searching for something, which turns out to be a cigarette. Rose quickly snatches from his hand and throws it out the window. Chris has a smoking addiction, and he's been trying to quit it. And this is also another detail that you guys need to keep in mind. Chris then calls his best friend, Rod, a TSA officer who is outspoken, funny, and very loyal. Rod had already agreed to watch Chris's dog over the weekend while he traveled to Rose's parents' home. From the start, though, Rod has always been highly suspicious of him going to that family home. He's voiced his concerns multiple times, and he also brings
shout out Rod
during this phone call conversation. After exchanging a
shout out Rod,
the call ends. As the drive continues, a deer suddenly jumps in front of the car, causing a minor accident and some damage to the vehicle. After the collision, Chris hears the deer whimpering and decides to investigate. He finds it laying helplessly, moments away from his death. Now, deers are very symbolic in this movie. We see them all the time. As Chris stares at it, it is symbolic because in a way it represents him. The deer represent prey, and later in the film, Chris will find himself in that exact position. The scene then cuts to a police officer questioning Rose about the accident. Once he finishes speaking to her, he turns to Chris and asks for his identification. Rose immediately objects, insisting that Chris doesn't need to show his ID because he was just a passenger. When I first watched this film, I thought Rose was just standing up for her man, being that loud, outspoken, liberal woman that we know. But no, this wasn't the case at all. She wasn't doing this to be a justice warrior. She was protecting herself and the family. You see, they plan on having Chris go missing. And if this police was to get Chris's ID, he would see that he was with Rose, documented the last time he was seen. This would end up bringing complications to her and the family, potentially getting them caught and ruining everything. The cop eventually backs off, and the pair continues their drive. When they arrive at Rose's family estate, we immediately notice a black groundskeeper tending to the property. Now, this was the first minor red flag, but not necessarily a major one. Rose and Chris are then greeted by her parents, Dean and Missy Armitage. Their initial interaction with Chris appears warm and welcoming. Both parents embrace him, creating the impression that he is about to be accepted into this family. Once inside, they begin talking about the trip. Dean asks how the drive was, and Rose mentions that they hit a deer on the way there. Dean is immediately interested and asks,
and I just want to throw this out there too. These is the type of white people y'all gotta be careful of. Like, see, I always tell y'all this. I respect an open racist versus an undercover racist. An undercover racist, those are the most dangerous forms of racist white people, bro. Those are the most dangerous forms of white people because they'll smile in your face like this, get you close. Like we already heard about it recently where they were saying that there was white people making a group chat on how to get friendly with black people so they can get close to them and do egregious shit to them, bro. Egregious shit. That's why I said I respect the open races. If I was to go out, shut up, you feel me? Hit me with the harder. Oh shit. At least I know what I'm dealing with. I know what I'm dealing with. You're telling me what I respect that, and you standing on business. A lot of these motherfucking white folks, they don't stand on business. They be too scared. They talk about this shit all in closed doors, but they be scared to say shit in public though. And this is how I know this for a fact because when I be playing the video game and shit, and I go online, especially Arc Raiders, to anybody that play Arc Raiders, me and my homies be on there all the time, bro. Me and my homie, we drop a nigga, he get on the mic in proximity check screaming, nigger. I'm like, wow. Like, but y'all won't say none of this shit in public. That's why I said most white people are undercover racists because they know that's the best way to get a motherfucker. But an open racist, you feel me? Like, I respect them. You feel me? I don't like them. I can respect the motherfucker and not like them. So it's like, I know what I'm dealing with. You feel me? So these, like I said, when it comes to these type of people right here, these type of white folk that's undercover, they're the most dangerous ones because they want to get close to you. So that way, when they can get you in the right position where they want you at, it's over with.
Whether the deer survived or not. Rose confirmed that it did die, and this launches Dean into a rant about how happy he is to hear this. He said that there are too many deer around, and more of them should be killed. At first glance, this may seem like a random conversation, but it's actually important. Earlier, I mentioned how the deer represented Chris. As a black man entering the Armitage family's world, Chris is ultimately being hunted, exploited, and treated as a resource. The Armitages view black people in much of the same way that hunters view deer, only the valuables that they can provide for them. With that context in mind, Dean's comments on deer have a much darker meaning. The deer become a stand-in for the people they seek to control, exploit, and strip of their anatomy. Afterwards, Dean takes Chris on a tour of the house. He first shows him Missy's office, where she practiced psychiatry. As they continue to walk through, Dean points out various family photographs, including pictures of Rose and her brother, Jeremy, as children. The camera then lingers onto a portrait of the entire Armitage family, alongside Rose's grandparents. Dean then stops at another collection of photos and points out a picture of his father, Roman Armitage. Dean explains how in his younger years, Roman was a talented track athlete, and he states that he lost a qualifying race in Berlin in 1936 to Jesse Owens, the same one that Hitler was at. He makes a very interesting quote though, stating he almost—
First thing is, that nigga, the nigga Mr. H, if I'm correct, I think the nigga Mr. H fuck with us. Cause that nigga was proud when Jesse Owens won too. Mr. H fuck with us. But he ain't fuck with them, you feel me?
Got over it, referring to the loss at that race. He never got over it. But what did he mean by almost? Shouldn't he have said he never got over it because he's dead? Roman's loss to Jesse Owens became the catalyst for everything that followed. The defeat left him obsessed with the idea that black people possess superior physical abilities. Over time, that obsession evolved into the coagular procedure, a process that allows wealthy white individuals to transfer their consciousness into black bodies in order to obtain these perceived.
And now this leads me into the organ harvesting shit, bro. Remember the Kendrick Johnson incident? I will never forget that brother. Kendrick Johnson, the young brother, 13-year-old, 14-year-old brother in high school, found rolled up in a gym mat with his organs missing. The nigga, the little brother organs was missing, bro. That's what I'm saying. You got so many of our people that come up missing. What are they really doing with these bodies, bro?
Advantages. With this being said, Roman never died, which is why he said he almost got over it. He's actually the groundskeeper now, named Walter. His consciousness lives inside of that body, which you will get proof of later in the film. After he's finished showing off the photos, he points out the basement being sealed off because of black mold. Now this was a lie, because later in the film, this is where the whole operation of the coagular procedure takes place. He then tours the kitchen where a major red flag is drawn. When Chris first came into the family estate, we seen one black servant, but now when When we enter the kitchen, we see the second. This is the family's maid. Her name is Georgina. Dean then goes to explain how his mother loved her kitchen and they always kept a piece of her in it. He meant literal because his mother is in Georgina's body. And as the film progresses, this gets confirmed as well. They then go outside to finish the tour, but as they're walking, Dean notices that Chris is kind of uncomfortable. Dean then brings up he realizes how bad this looks. A white family, black servants, they're rich, but he reassures Chris that it's not like that. He goes on to explain how Georgina and Walter used to care for his parents, and after they died, he kept them around because he didn't feel right just letting them go. He then brings up Obama, stating how he would have voted for him for a third time if he could, just like Rose brought up. Chris looks even more uncomfortable, and Dean's attempts to prove that he isn't racist just come across as performative and forced. This is one of the film's earliest examples of Jordan Peele highlighting liberal racism. Dean doesn't openly represent himself as racist, and in fact, he goes out of his way to appear progressive and accepting. In the next scene, the family is gathered outside around a table talking. Dean asks Chris about his parents, and Chris explains that his father was never in the picture and his mother died in a hit-and-run accident when he was around 11 years old. Dean then asks Chris if he smokes. Chris says yes, but asks that he is in the process of quitting. Dean encourages Chris to let Missy use her hypnosis to cure his addiction, claiming that he once had the same problem, but after doing a hypnosis session with Missy, he is now disgusted of cigarettes. Chris is visibly uncomfortable with the suggestion, but Dean continues to insist, stating that it's a service we provide. Chris politely declines, and the conversation moves on. We then learn that a family gathering is taking place the following day to celebrate Rose's grandparents. Conveniently, Rose forgot about this and decided to have Chris visit the family on this big day. While the family talks, Georgina moves around the table refilling drinks. As she pours Chris's glass, she accidentally overfills it, prompting Missy to tell her to go lay down and rest for the continuation of the day. Shortly afterwards, Rose's brother Jeremy arrives. Up to this point, we know very little about him, but in this upcoming dinner scene, it gives us a much better understanding of his character and further reveals the unsettling nature of the Armitage family. After bringing up an old story about Rose, Jeremy asks Chris if he is an MMA fan. Chris says no, explaining that it's too brutal for him. Jeremy then asks Chris if he ever got into a street fight as a kid. Chris replies, stating that he practiced judo when he was younger, insinuating that he got into a lot of fights. Jeremy then says something interesting, in quotes, "With your frame and genetic makeup, if you really pushed your body, you would be a beast." This line shows how Jeremy feels about
They
Chris.
obsessed with
Black
us.
people naturally possess superior strength, speed, and athletic ability.
I think LeBron, hey, I think LeBron one of them. You know how they put their consciousness in the fucking the servant's body. I think this shit happened on LeBron. Why LeBron be fucking with them Jews, nigga? Come on, not like some shit just don't sit right with me from the shit I see from certain black celebrities and black athletes. Some shit just don't sit right with me. This is where we get into the MK Ultra and shit. I ain't gonna go too deep. Let's keep
Although
going.
he frames his comment as a compliment, it reduces Chris to his physical trait and reinforces racist stereotypes. Jeremy then brings up jiu-jitsu, noting that success in the sport is more about intelligence and strategy than physical strength. The way he frames his comments suggests the contrast between physical ability and mental ability. He appears to imply that black people have superior physical abilities, while white people hold the mental abilities having better intellect. This idea ties directly into the film's central theme. The Armitage family's ultimate goal is to place what they believe to be a superior white mind into a genetically superior black body. Now, the way Jeremy thinks also can draw parallels to how many white Gen Z men in 2026 feel. We often talk about the fetishization of black men from non-black women, but we never talk about it from the non-black men as well. A great example of this is a TikTok trend that went viral last year. They would use this country song and the lyrics would go something like, "I won't back down." And on the screen would be a picture of them and some made up scenario of a black guy doing something very descriptive. For example, it says, "When bro doesn't know how to shut up, so now my 5'10" ass gotta dance with the 6'5", 250 and lean dreadhead."
I ain't never seen this damn trend all my life. I ain't never seen this damn trend. Like, these people, it probably trend amongst them, but not with our people.
Example, when
I ain't see this shit, but the fact that this was a trend is just sad, bro. Like, white men are so insecure of black men, bro. It don't even make sense, bro. Majority of y'all white men is so insecure of us, bro. Not all of y'all. Not all of y'all. You feel me? Cause like I said, I got a white homie with mixed kids right now. I got a white homie right now with a black girlfriend and mixed babies, bro. So it's like, but he grew up in the hood with us. He grew up straight out the hood with us. You feel me? Did the same shit as us, same music, all that. So he got that soul in him. So I can't really, like I said, I I treat my white homie as if he nigga, this the same nigga that was putting the roof over my head every time my mama was kicking me out and shit, bro. So I look at him as another black brother. But to you regular white niggas, regular. Y'all are so insecure of us. It don't make no sense. You feel me? It don't make no sense. And the reason why y'all so insecure of us, because it doesn't take much for me to go take your woman and dick her down with this long Egyptian Atlantean dick. You feel me? And now she don't know how to act. You see what I'm saying? So it's just sad. And then with the white women too, they like the fed. It's like they got a fed, like he just said, a fetishization. It's just sad, bro. Like, this is sad. And then they talking about, just like how he mentioned, the brother mentioned in the video that like they have a superior intellect. No, y'all don't. Y'all do not talking about putting superior intellect in a superior genetically black body. No. Y'all intellect is far below ours too, bro. Like, it's like we supersede these. And I don't like saying this because it doesn't. I don't want to make niggas think, oh, he's a black dude. But it's just like, bro, when y'all display the shit y'all do, it just goes to show the major difference between a black man and a white man, bro. A black woman and a white woman. It's just crazy to me, bro. And then and they know this. They know this. That's why they move around the way they do with hatred towards us, bro. Instead of just if white people could just accept who they are and what they are, bro, it wouldn't even be no race. It wouldn't even be no racism or hatred coming from them towards us because they would be happy with who they are. A lot of them are not happy with who they are, bro. That's the sad part about it. It ain't the racism. It ain't the hatred. The major sad part about these people, these kind of white people, because it ain't all, but these kind of white people right here, the major sad part about them is they not even happy with who they are and what they are, bro. That is crazy to me.
Dreadhead starts squaring up because I started fake whipping him. And even with white women themselves, they have picked up on this obsession with black men.
Right. Reason 10,000 why racism is rooted in jealousy.
And I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest. It's like the white women is more intelligent than the white men. Oh God. They more that's why I be telling y'all back to back. Go look at the history of the white man and the white woman. The white man it's if we want to be for real, if we want to be so for real, the major problem with white people is the men. It ain't even really the women. It ain't even really the women. The women more intelligent than them. They be picking up on the bullshit they be on. And then, like I said, if you look at the history between the white man, if you look at the history between the white man and the white woman, bro, they treated they women so poorly, so badly. They damn near treated them as bad as the slave, nigga, the black slave. They damn near treated them as bad as the black. They be butchering they wife, then to butcher the kids, kill the whole family, be beating the shit out the wife if she ain't cook right. Or if he come home from a bad day of work, he just abused the shit out the kids or whatever. Like, bro, they're psychotic, bro. And that's now you got the white women. They're scared of their own men. They're not gonna say that out in public, but white women are literally scared of their own counterpart, bro. Because the white man is so psychotic and lost and unhappy with who he is and what he is, bro. It's crazy to me.
Why I received this message of a white man saying, well, you look like you've dated black men, and if you have, none of us want you. I didn't know this was an attitude that a lot of white men hold, but apparently they think that white women who sleep with black men.
Like that? Look what the nigga just said.
A lot of look like you've dated black.
White men don't want you once you take black dicker. Wow. You see how they treat their own women? I wouldn't even treat if my sister want to go get her Caucasian, go ahead. If anything happened, I'm going to just turn the other way because you made that choice. But still, if you want to go ahead. You feel me? If the black brother want to go get him play in the snow, go ahead. You feel me? I'm not going to look at you different. Like, shit. I might be like, okay, cool, that's what you want to do, whatever. But, excuse me, if a sister was to date some white men and now all of a sudden she like, okay, I'm done with this. I just strictly want my black man. I'm not gonna be like, oh, black men don't want you no more. Black men don't want you no more. Hell no, I still want my queen. Come here. We'll readjust them guts. We'll readjust that mind. You feel me? But look how they treat Bro, that's what I'm saying. They will slaughter their own women for even being around, not even just black men. When white women come and support, like Miss Rachel, for example, had to come and support the parents of Nolan Wells. Look how everybody is trying to cancel Miss Rachel, bro. And it ain't even black people. It's the white people trying to cancel Miss Rachel. Look how they treat their women. It is generally sad, bro. I'm starting to like really realize it's the men that's the problem amongst the white community, bro. It's the men. They're insecure of themselves, and they're insecure because of, you know, black men. And not only that, they are unhappy with who they are and what they are, which builds up what? Jealousy. And then what does jealousy leads to? Hatred. And then that breeds racism, bro.
Men, and if you have, none of us want you. I didn't know this was an attitude that a lot of white
And she probably don't get no fuck anyways, nigga. If she wants some black dick, she gonna get her some because she know that shit gonna smack. So she probably don't even get no fuck. She like, well, okay, I'm still finna. You feel me? She don't get no fuck because she probably happy. She probably got her a nigga at home and she happy with him.
men holds, but apparently they think that white women who sleep with black men or with brown men, they become tainted in some way and they no longer want that white woman. But this is absolutely rooted in jealousy, because why would it matter to them unless black men made them feel insecure? There is something about black men sleeping with white women who they view as their possessions that really gets them.
Remember the women's right? Remember the women's rights movement? Because before, back in the 1700s, the white men deemed the white woman as possessions, objects, slaves. I'm telling you, the white men treated the white women just as bad as the slaves, bro. Oh my God. And then let's not forget the fact they didn't even want to sleep with their women. Them niggas would go straight to the barn and go rape the shit out of a black woman or go rape the shit out of a black man or a black child, bro. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with them, bro.
Feeling angry, like they aren't good enough, because let's face it, they aren't. And white men are obsessed with black men's penises. Like, they talk about it often online.
Gay.
You'll see comments like, I bet she takes black dick or whatever. And it's fucking weird and genuinely unsettling how much they talk about black men. If they weren't insecure, if they didn't feel jealous, then why would they talk about it? They wouldn't. Genuinely so embarrassing on their end, because quite literally anybody can see through like what they're doing.
After dinner later that night, unable to sleep, Chris goes outside for a cigarette. Before he even gets a chance, after dinner later that night,
took that shit down. Boy, got her sleep, nigga. Took that shit down. And now everybody want in both the black community and the white community. Y'all wonder why they be running this way, nigga. Look how we treat. I mean, hey, we might cheat a little bit, nigga. You feel me? That's about it. Nigga. Even black men don't cheat, to be real. I'm gonna be honest with you. Black men don't cheat. But still, we not gonna butcher and beat the shit out of our wife or beat the hell out the kids, and you feel me? I mean, that's one in every 100,000 black men that do that bullshit. That's why they come running to the black men. That's what you white men y'all wonder why y'all women keep running over here. Because they see how we treat our, they like, shit, at least I ain't gonna he might cheat, but at least I ain't gonna get killed by the nigga. At least I ain't gonna get treated like a goddamn slave or an object by the nigga. You feel me? Like, they feel safe. Because look how we treat our women. Look how we take care of our women and our children, bro. They like, damn, we want that too. So let's go over here. You feel me? Like, and I'm not saying all white women is like that. You still got some white women that's fucked up in the head too, and they like to lure niggas into traps. And y'all seen the incident with the OnlyFans, that white girl that was an OnlyFans model, and she stabbed the shit and killed the shit out that black dude, and now she only got 5 years of probation. But meanwhile, Carmelo Anthony just got 35 years in prison. Man.
unable to sleep, Chris goes outside for a cigarette. Before he even gets a chance to light and smoke it, Walter, the groundskeeper, is seen full sprinting towards him, and at the last minute turns abruptly. This moment was a key giveaway that Roman was actually inside Walter's body. Chris then heads back inside, and on his way to bed, he encounters Missy in her hypnosis room. She asks him, "Do you know how dangerous smoking is?" Chris nervously laughs, trying to brush it off, while Missy urges him to sit down and talk with her. What begins as a seemingly harmless conversation about smoking quickly becomes something much darker. After asking Chris about smoking in front of Rose, Missy starts probing into his past, specifically the circumstances surrounding his mother's death. She asks where was he when he died. Although Chris clearly doesn't want to discuss it, Missy constant stirring of the teacup seems to place him under her influence, causing him to reveal information against his will. As Missy continues questioning him, she weaponizes his guilt. She convinces Chris that he is responsible for his mother's death because he failed to call for help. Overwhelmed by emotion, Chris begins crying and admits that he can no longer move. Completely under her control, he becomes physically frozen. Missy then commands him to sink, and Chris enters what she calls the sunken place. This is a vast, dark void with no visible floor, walls, or ceilings. Chris appears to float helplessly through the empty black space, as though he is falling backward into an endless abyss or drifting underwater. Far above him is a small, bright, rectangular window that shows the real world. As he sinks deeper, the window grows more distant, making him feel increasingly isolated. Although he can still see and hear what is happening outside, he is unable to move, speak, or regain control of his own body. This right now is the current reality for Walter and Georgina. Chris then wakes up from what seems like a horrible nightmare. To clear his mind, he heads outside to take some pictures, but while doing so, he spots Walter and decides to strike up a conversation. Right away, something feels off. His mannerisms, tone, and overall behavior don't reflect what Chris would expect from a typical Black American. During their conversation, Walter apologizes for what happened the night before, claiming he was simply exercising. He then asks Chris if his session with Missy worked because, according to Walter, he was in there for quite some time. This immediately catches Chris off guard because he believed that the entire hypnosis experience was just a bad dream. Armed with this information, Chris confronts Rose and tells her that her mother hypnotized him without his consent. He explains the sunken place experience, which he still assumes was a part of a dream. The one positive outcome, however, is he's now disgusted of cigarettes, so the hypnosis worked in a way. Later that day, the family gathering begins. One thing that stood out to me was that most of the guests had on all black, which I interpret as them coming to a funeral. This whole event was weird though. It was originally supposed to be a party for her grandfather, which they do every year, but despite Chris being Rose's new boyfriend that no one pretty much heard of, all attention is focused on him. Various guests ask invasive questions about his hobbies, interests, and what it's like being Black. This curiosity goes beyond normal conversation and becomes deeply uncomfortable.
These kind of women, boy, I be bumping into them all the time, bro. I be bumping into these kind of not old, young, promiscuous than the motherfucker want to get up on some what?
A lot of these questions are basically asked to see if Chris's body will suit what they do. For example, when he was talking to this one guy, he asks about golf and does he golf a lot, asking him to demonstrate his swing. It's small things like this that you pick up on while rewatching it again. Chris finally seems to catch a break when he encounters another Black guest. This is Andre, the man who was kidnapped earlier in the film. At the party, once again, Andre isn't dressed like a typical Black American. He's also accompanied by older white women and speaks completely.
And Andre, in this specific moment, he's a representation of them kind of Black folks. You feel me? That you know, they think y'all know, my people, y'all know what's up, bro. He's a representation of them kind of Black people, bro. Until they fuck around and get caught up and now they missing.
Different. The awkwardness peaks when Chris goes in for a fist bump and then Andre responds by just grabbing his hand. I want to give y'all a fun fact. The dap was created by Black Americans. Black service members in Vietnam developed the dap, a combination of hand and body gestures as a non-verbal form of communication. The dap could be as simple as tapping fists and shaking hands, or as complex of dozens of gestures with hands punctuated by slapping chests. Afterward, Chris meets what appears to be the most relaxed person at the entire gathering. Sitting by himself is Jim Hudson, a wealthy blonde art dealer. The two begin talking, and Chris introduces himself, but Jim already knows who he is. He says he admired Chris's photography and compliments him by saying he has a great eye. Once again, in this scene, we see another example
Bitch,
of
hold on, that's what confused me in the movie. How the fuck you know this nigga got good photography but you're blind?
foreshadowing. At this point, Chris seems exhausted by the entire experience. He heads back into the house and walks upstairs. This gotta be one of the creepiest things from the film though. As soon as he reaches the top of the stairs, the entire guest that was below him just stop abruptly talking and look up. My guess is that everyone at this party already knew what it was. The party was just a cover-up for the auction. So when he went upstairs, they could just let go the act and I guess not associate like people would do at a party. That's my guess. Upstairs, Chris discovers that his phone has been unplugged. Now, when he woke up up after doing the hypnosis with Missy, his phone was unplugged. That was the first time. Now when he comes back into the house, this is the second time. So he knows something is up. He left it on the charger before he went out. He now thinks that this is being done intentionally, specifically by the maid Georgina. He then finds Rose and voices this concern. But again, in normal Rose fashion, she just makes a joke out of it and downplays it. Afterwards, Chris calls Rod and tells him about the bizarre party. He also reveals that Missy hypnotized him. Rod immediately reacts because from the beginning, he has felt something off about this entire situation. He jokingly suggests that the family could be using hypnosis to create sex slaves. While Rod's theory isn't correct, he's not completely off base. Rod reminds me of many of these conspiracy theories that we just label as crazy. Yet sometimes, years later, parts of what they were saying end up true. After the call, Georgina confronts Chris. And in my opinion, this was like one of the best / creepiest performances in this movie. She goes on to explain what happened. Basically, she was cleaning up and accidentally unplugged his phone. Whole lot of bullshit. It was on purpose. But she's explaining it. And in the middle of her doing so, it's like her real self is trying to jump out once again. It gets even worse though when Chris replies, "If there's too many white people, I get nervous." She begins to look worried, then starts crying, and then starts laughing. Like, it was so weird. She goes on to say that the Armiters treat her and Walter very well before walking away. After this interaction, Chris is shaken up, replying that this bitch is crazy. Chris then returns to the party, and as soon as he steps outside, the guests are fixated on him. One guest asks about his experience as an African American, and whether being this is more of an advantage or a disadvantage. Chris notices Andre approaching, and instead of answering the question himself, he redirects it to him. While Andre is speaking, Chris takes a photo of him, but not realizing the flash is on. I'm guessing this brightness from the flash caused Andre to briefly resurface, and in that instant, he starts to rush towards Chris and yells at him to get out. One detail I found interesting about this scene is that you can literally see him coming back to himself. If you notice on his eyes, as soon as the flash goes off, his eyes start to dim away of the light that was there. Andre is then checked out by Missy, and soon after he comes out fine, I guess. Dean and Missy say that this was just a seizure, but that's a load of BS and Chris knows it. Rose then takes Chris outside so he can calm down, and this is where he expresses his frustration. He explains that he has a cousin with epilepsy and knows what a real seizure looks like. In typical fashion, Rose downplays this again, stating that her father is a neurosurgeon and knows what he's.
I ain't gonna lie, I would have packed her ass up, right? I'd be like, I'd have looked around, but like, ain't nobody around this bitch. Nigga, get in that motherfucking water. Go, nigga. I'd have been out of there, nigga. I would have packed. I was like, oh, bitch, you want to. I'd have thought in my head, like, oh, bitch, you want to keep playing? You with these niggas. I'd have looked around, hing right in her shit, put her in the choker, bitch, shut up. I'd have had her mouth up, bitch, be quiet. Put her to sleep, threw her in that water, and I'd have been gone, nigga. Quit playing with me, boy.
He's talking about. Meanwhile, while this conversation is going on, the silent auction for Chris is taking place. They were doing this playing like a bingo game. I don't really understand it. But Jim Hudson, the man who earlier complimented Chris on having that good eye, wins the bidding. As Rose and Chris finish up their conversation, Chris makes it clear that he is ready to leave, with or without her. Rose agrees and says that she will come up with an excuse for them to leave. Inside the home while packing, this is when everything starts.
Bitch, we grown. What you mean I'm gonna come up with it? Bitch, we grown. Hey, look. Hey, we finna get up out of here. We had our time. Thank you. We gone. What? You don't want to stay? No, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. God damn it.
Fall apart. Chris receives a call from Rod after sending the photo he took earlier of Andre. During the conversation, Rod confirms that the man from the party is Andre, someone they both knew. Chris feels a mix of relief, excitement, and anger. Rod urgently tells Chris that he needs to leave immediately, but before he can further explain, his phone goes dead. Just then, Rose enters the room, and Chris tells her in a troubled tone that they need to leave right away. She agrees and heads off to grab her bag. While waiting, Chris notices an open doorway he never seen before in Rose's bedroom. Curious, he steps inside and discovers something horrifying. Hidden away is a collection of photographs featuring what appears to be all of Rose's previous romantic partners. The disturbing part is that all of them are black, and if we remember back to the beginning of the film, Rose said that Chris was her first black boyfriend. Things get even more unsettling when Chris recognizes two familiar faces among the photos, Walter and Georgina. Realizing the significance of what he found, he quickly puts everything back and leaves the room. In the middle of doing so though, Rose walks in. He does his best to try to hide his panic, but with her bag found, they head out. When they reach downstairs, Chris discovers that the entire family is waiting for him. Jeremy stands in front of the door, Missy emerges from one room, and Dean from another. This whole time, Rose is still at the top of the stairs searching for the keys. While doing so, Dean asks Chris questions like, what is your purpose here? Chris doesn't know how to respond, so Dean starts answering for him. Growing desperate, Chris demands the keys again, but this time, Rose completely drops the act and calmly responds, you know I can't give you the keys, right babe? In that moment, Chris realizes he's trapped. And this girl
God, I ain't gonna lie. That scene had me dying when she said, "Oh, you know I can't give you the keys," but he just did that. He did that. The nigga said, like, fuck. On God, like, damn, I knew this bitch. Boy, this was, I gotta go back and watch this bitch again, cause this movie is grease, bro.
The whole time. With no other option, Chris lunges at Jeremy in an attempt to escape. But before a fight can even start, Missy taps her teacup, instantly knocking out Chris, and he falls back into the sunken place. Meanwhile, Rod is trying to contact Chris, but he receives no answer. As he's searching for information about the man from the party, he discovers that Andre has officially been missing for a while. Armed with this new information, Rod goes to the police and explains everything he knows. There are some key details in there, but it do sound a little crazy. So the police officers just dismiss him. Rod then realizes that he must take all of this into his own hands. So what he does next is give Rose a call. He states how he can't get in contact with him.
And this is, I ain't gonna lie, this is why nobody don't like the police. That's why nobody, every time the police just kill people and do all kind of dumb shit. And then when you do come to them with some shit like that is some shit like this, they think a nigga crazy instead of just searching. Like, bro, just do your job. My taxes pay you, bitch. You're paid off my taxes. Go do what the fuck I asked you to do. If my friend is in some shit, even if it sounds crazy, at least investigate. At least invest. That's why nobody like the police. The police is so fucking useless, bro. They are by far some of the most useless people on. They are, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. They are by far some of the most useless people on earth, bro.
Rose says that Chris left 2 days ago, and she's been waiting for him to give her a call as well. Rod is confused because that doesn't sound right. Rose then changes the subject and tries to make it seem like Rod has always had a thing for her. This upsets Rod, and he starts to go off, hanging up the phone in her face. The strange thing about this whole encounter is that during the entire time, Rose's mom was listening, her dad, and I think even Jeremy. Just even very weird to think about in itself. Like, these parents send their daughter out to go mess with all these different men, sleeping with them, and then bringing them back to the home to be kidnapped. I mean, they basically pimping her out, right? Like, am I wrong? We next see Chris waking up, strapped to a chair positioned in front of a small box TV. Mounted above is a deer trophy, which becomes important later in this film. The TV suddenly turns on, and a pre-recorded video begins to play. In it, Rose's grandfather, Roman Armitage, explains the coagulant procedure. He tells Chris that he was chosen because of his physical advantages he has enjoyed throughout his life, and that the procedure will ultimately benefit both in the recipient. According to Roman, by combining the black man's body with the white person's mind, they can become something perfect. The video then cuts to a live feed of Jim Hudson, who is being prepared to receive Chris's body. Jim explains the 3 phases of the procedure. Phase 1, the hypnosis. Phase 2, the mental preparation, what they are currently doing now. And phase 3, the transportation, where Jim's brain will be placed into Chris's body. Jim explains that he will have complete control over Chris' physical body, while Chris will remain trapped in the sunken place, able to see and hear everything, but no type of control at all. Chris then asks, why us? Why black people? Jim responds by saying that some people want to be stronger, some want to be faster, some want to be cooler. There are plenty of different reasons. However, in Jim's case, he could care less about the race. He simply just wants a healthy set of eyes. Now, in my opinion, I do believe Jim when he says he's not racist, but this is the problem with a lot of white people. They may not.
Yeah, he did say that shit. He's like, nigga, I don't get no fuck. He's like, shit, nigga, if I can get these new eyes, nigga, I'm gonna get these new eyes. He probably would have did it to. I ain't gonna lie, that nigga Jim probably would have did it to one of his own folks. Like, nigga, hey, just bring me a white body at this point with some good eyes, nigga. Let me have that, cuz. But yeah, this is fucking wild. Taking the brain, the pineal gland, where your consciousness is at. You also have claustrum in the brain, specifically the gray matter of the brain, which is responsible for the reason why you're even conscious and have a subconscious. Like, woo. Crown chakra, like, man.
I do believe Jim when he says he's not racist, but this is the problem with a lot of white people. They may not be actively involving themselves in racist activities or white supremacy, but also when they give no pushback towards it or don't speak up against it, they're pretty much in the same place as them. Because in this instance, yeah, Jim may not be racist, but he is actively
and that's what I like to call indirect racism. You got motherfuckers that be like, oh, I didn't know my friend was racist. Yes, you did. Oh, I ain't know. Yes, you did. Oh, they're saying this. Okay, you're not gonna speak up on what they saying. You're not gonna speak against that. That's why I be telling to the white folks out there that really is down for black people. They understand our struggle. They see what we go through. Y'all need to be speaking out against your own people. Y'all need to be calling them out. Y'all need to be getting on their tops. Some actually do that. You feel me? Some actually do that. Just like Like sometimes when I be playing Arc Raiders, you know, you got some motherfuckers that be in there be saying some racist shit. Out of nowhere, a white homie come up and drop a nigga like, hold on, who you talking to like that racist fuck? They be like, and like, you racist fuck, you racist fuck. I be like, okay, get it. I'm like, yeah, get his ass, cuz, get his ass. Yeah, that's what you get for saying the N-word. Slime a nigga out. This being solos or whatever. Slime a nigga out. Then we go by, I be like, appreciate that, dog. I'm like, you want them real ones. He be like, yeah, man, you know I don't support that shit, nigga. Here goes some loot. I be like, oh, you feel me? So you got some out there that stand against that, but you got them ones that they like, how can I put it? Like, they're not racist, but they're scared to speak up against their own people in fear of being shunned by their own people or whatever the case may be. Like, bro, once you stand up for black people, you got us. You family at that point, nigga. Once you stand up for us, you knock a white nigga out for being racist, or you come save a black person that's being antagonized or harassed by race. You feel me? You with us now, nigga. You got a much better family than them niggas for sure.
The fruits of
y'all white folks need to really consider whose side you want to be on. You want to come, once you on this, you on the good side. Once you come to this side, this is the best side. Put it like that. Once you with this family, nigga, you good, nigga. Because this family is way better than the one y'all are part of.
It's the same way when we talk about slavery as well. Yes, many white people didn't own slaves. The majority of white people didn't have slaves. But also, many of those people were comfortable with the hierarchy of the way that things were. Now, since we're on the topic of, you know, transporting brains and doing all these types of operations, I want to highlight two stories that connect to this. My first one is a medieval story titled The Miracle of the Black Leg. This is one of the most famous miracle stories associated with St. Cosmas and Damien, two Christian physicians who, according to tradition, treated people for free and were later martyred in the 3rd century. The story first appeared in medieval writings and became especially popular in European art. According to the legend, a man had developed a diseased or cancerous leg that could not be healed. As his condition worsened, he prayed to St. Cosmas and Damien for help. That night, while he slept, the saints appeared to him in a dream and performed what is often described as the first successful transplant surgery in history. They removed his diseased leg and replaced it with the healthy leg of a recently deceased black man who had later been buried earlier that day. When the man awoke, his sick leg was gone. In its place was a healthy black leg, while the corpse of the deceased black man was found buried with the patient's diseased white leg attached to it. The miracle was interpreted as proof of saints' divine healing power. Modern scholars often
I did not know that. That's probably why they got pictures and shit of black Madonnas and black Jesus and shit out there. Not out here in America. What they probably do is just probably hidden, but out there like in the eastern side of the world, like the out there in Italy and France, Spain, all that shit with the Catholics and the Pope and shit. You know, they be kissing the foot of the black man. That is crazy. And then the Russia, they got the church where they opened up the church to all the Russian people. And when they went in, they seen all the prophets, like the biblical prophets, but they were all black. Wow, I did not know about this.
Because it raises questions about race, identity, and the body. With this story, The Miracle of the Black Leg, this transplant is performed to save a dying man, all while the recipient keeps his own mind and identity, only his leg being replaced. And then my final story I want to bring up, which is actually a historical fact, is Nat Turner and his rebellion. On the night of August 21st, 1831, in Southampton County, Virginia, Nat Turner, an enslaved preacher who believed God had called on him to fight against slavery, led one of the most significant slave revolts in American history. Turner and his followers killed approximately 55 white men, women, and children as they moved through the county. The objective was to recruit.
I ain't gonna lie. Now, children is wild, my nigga. I ain't gonna lie. Children, killing the children, the babies. Now, when it comes to the white baby, bro, they ain't do shit, bro. You can teach them, bro. That's why I said racism is not something you're born with. It's passed down by teaching. They teach. It's a taught behavior. Them niggas slimed out the babies. Damn. Nigga, if it was me, I'd be like, bro, slime out the men, slime out the women, but keep the children, and we gonna teach them on what really happened. You feel me? So that way, when they grow up and have children, they're gonna keep passing that knowledge down. Like, yeah, these people. You feel me? This what was done to them. They ain't never did shit to nobody, and then boom, it just keeps passing down. Now you got a whole generation of white folks that don't got no hatred towards us. They fuck with us, and they know our history and what we've been through. Like. You slimed it. That you fucked it up right there, sliming out the babies. Damn.
more enslaved people to cause, and eventually seized control of the town of Jerusalem, present-day Courtland. However, local militias and state forces suppressed the uprising within a day. Turner evaded capture for nearly 2 months before he was found, tried, and executed. Now, after Nat Turner's execution is where I can connect this to Get Out. Following his execution, Turner's body was desecrated. He was flayed, meaning his skin was removed, and his body was dissected. According to multiple historical accounts, parts of his remains, including his skin, bones, and fat, were reportedly taken by local white residents as souvenirs or used in other gruesome ways. Some accounts claim he was beheaded, although historians note that the exact details of what happened of his body vary depending on the source. What is broadly agreed upon is that his remains were mutilated and desecrated after his death. Now, what I want to mention now is much more difficult to verify. However, in Vincent Woodard's The Delectable Negro, he argues that there were reports suggesting parts of Nat Turner's body may have been consumed or otherwise used in ritualistic or symbolic ways after his execution. Now, the reasoning behind them eating him is because they believe that this black person was supernatural. Both Turner's fellow enslaved followers and many white Southerners viewed him as someone with extraordinary and almost supernatural abilities, but for very different reasons. His followers saw him as a prophetic leader. White Southerners, on the other hand, feared what they believed was his almost mythical ability to inspire enslaved people to rebel. After the 1831 uprising, many white observers explained his influence by attributing it to imagined spirit of prophecy and extraordinary powers of persuasion. So many of them at this time thought that keeping his body parts as a souvenir, or what we can't confirm, eating him, would give them these divine abilities as well. After his conversation with Jim, Chris looks down at the chair he's strapped to and notices pieces of cotton coming loose from the armrest. This moment is highly symbolic because that very cotton is what sets him free. Chris quietly takes the cotton from the chair and stuffs it into his ear, preventing Missy's teacup from hitting.
And you know what? Now that I think about it, I wonder what this leather made of too. Remember, they was making furniture out of our ancestors, dog. Damn.
Tears the cotton from the chair and stuffs it into his ear, preventing Missy's teacup from hypnotizing him and sending him back to the sunken place. This was a powerful reversal of history. Cotton, which was historically associated with the forced labor of enslaved black people, becomes the very tool that allows Chris to resist his oppressors and reclaim his freedom in this situation. In the next scene, Dean begins preparing for the coagulant procedure, getting ready to transplant Jim's brain into Chris's body. While in the middle of prepping, he sends Jeremy to go get Chris, believing that he is unconscious in the sunken place. As Jeremy loosens Chris' restraints, Chris suddenly attacks him and knocks him out unconscious. In this moment, he appears to be dead, but he's really not. He then removes the cotton from his ears, revealing that he was never hypnotized. Chris then grabs the mounted deer from the wall, and as Dean is waiting on Jeremy to return, Chris charges at him and drives the deer antlers into his body, killing him. As Dean is dying, he stumbles and accidentally knocks a candle over, starting a fire. This moment becomes full circle. The animal Dean spent the entire film calling a pest becomes the very thing that kills him. Chris leaves the basement and heads upstairs. As he enters the kitchen, Georgina sees him and, shocked, immediately runs away. He then comes face to face with Missy. The two stare each other down, both glancing at the teacup. They rush toward it at the same time, but Chris gets there first and smashes it, preventing her from hypnotizing him and sending him to the sunken place. Missy then grabs a knife and tries to stab him. She manages to drive it through his hand, but with the blade still lodged into his palm, Chris uses it against her, driving it into her eye and killing her. Just as Chris is about to escape through the front door,
I ain't gonna lie, that scene made me cringe.
After a brutal struggle, Chris finally gains the upper hand and kills Jeremy for good. The film then cuts to Rose, who is casually eating her colored Fruit Loops separately from her white milk. This is another form of symbolism. In the middle of doing this, she is searching for her next victim online. This time, it seems like she's targeting one of these college athletes. As the camera pulls back, we see photographs of all of her previous relationships hanging above her bed. This makes me wonder,
that bitch crazy.
Rose still have a emotional connection to some of her victims? Let's take Chris for an example. She was dating him for 5 months. After spending hours together, sleeping together, some connection has to be made despite her eventually selling them out. I don't know, you gotta be kind of sadistic to do the things that she was doing. Chris then gets into Jeremy's car, and if you pay attention, it's the same two-door car from the opening scene where Andre was kidnapped. Even more revealing, the black helmet worn by Andre's attacker is sitting right in the passenger seat, and the exact same song is playing too. This pretty much confirms that Jeremy was the one who kidnapped Andre and likely many other victims that we don't know about. As Chris speeds away, he hits Georgina with the car, feeling guilty because he knows the real Georgina is still trapped inside of there, and also she reminds him of the situation with his mother.
Damn, that's kind of fucked up, because I was gonna say, why couldn't he just, like, he could have easily hit Georgina with he could just put out his phone and said, take a picture, flash, boom, now she back. You feel me? There's certain things I thought about, like, now why he could just, you feel me? Because if he could do it to Andre, he could have did to her, and he could have did to the dude that they have as the groundskeeper.
He picks her up and puts her in the vehicle. Rose ends up hearing this commotion and comes outside carrying a rifle. This moment right here is more symbolism. Earlier, I mentioned how Chris represents the deer throughout the film. And here he ends up in the exact same position as a deer, being hunted for his resources. As Chris drives away, Georgina suddenly wakes up and grabs the steering wheel, causing him to lose control and crash. Georgina ends up dying in this accident. And as a result of this, her scar is now visible, pretty much confirming that the grandma's brain was put into Georgina's body. As soon as Chris gets out of the car, Rose opens fire with the rifle. During the confrontation, she orders her grandpa, Walter, to chase Chris. She verbally calls him grandpa, so this pretty much confirms that he was the granddad. Walter catches Chris and tackles him down to the ground. In a desperate move, Chris pulls out his phone and uses the camera flash on Walter. Just like what happened earlier with Andre, the flash temporarily frees Walter from the sunken place, allowing his true self to regain control. Walter stands up and asks Rose to hand him the rifle so he can kill Chris. Trusting him, Rose gives him the gun, but instead, Walter turns it on her and shoots.
Blasted her shit.
He then points the gun at himself, killing both his original self and the man who stolen his body. Chris walks over to Rose.
I can get why he did that.
Strangling her. And this is where I can talk about the two different endings. In the theatrical ending, Chris stops before killing her. Flashing police lights appear in the distance, making both Chris and the audience think the police have arrived. But then we see it's actually Rod driving his TSA vehicle. He rescues Chris, and the film ends with Chris escaping alive. This is a happy ending, but it's not realistic. The alternate ending makes much more sense. Chris doesn't stop strangling her. He actually kills Rose. Seconds later, the real police arrive and they arrest him for murdering the entire Armitage family. In the final scene, Chris is shown in prison, speaking to Rod through a glass partition. Rod wants to continue investigating the conspiracy, but Chris tells him to let it go. He believes he accomplished what he needed to do by ending their operation. He believes he's the sacrificial lamb. He accepts that no one will believe his story, but at least he ended more people from following his fate. This is a heartbreaking ending, but once again, it is realistic. With the house burnt down and nearly all of the evidence destroyed, how could Chris possibly prove what happened? This is what makes this ending hit so much harder, and I wish they would have put this in the theatrical one. Get Out has always been about more than just escaping the Armitage family. It's about the system that can still work against you even after you survive. From Chris' perspective, he was just defending himself against people who kidnapped him, planned to steal his body, and murdered countless others, but no one believes that story. You know why? Because he's black. There has been numerous high-profile cases in the United States where black victims or defendants have been treated with skepticism, while claims of self-defense made by others receive far more public or legal acceptance. Cases like Trayvon Martin, Ahmaud Arbery, and even this year with 14-year-old Cyrus Belton and Carmelo Anthony. It seems like people understand self-defense when it's against a black person, but never when it's a white victim. This is why I love Get Out, and this ending in particular. Chris wins the battle for his body, but he still loses his freedom. Damned if he fights back, just like Carmelo Anthony, and damned if he doesn't, just like Cyrus Carmack Belton. He survived the Armitage family, but still can't escape the system that's always stacked against him.
Right. Hey, man. Hey, man, all I gotta say is W video, man. W video, bro. That shout out to the brother that made this video, because Get Out is way more relevant in right now in 2026 than it was in 2017 with all the shit that is going on. And like I said, it's getting more and more worse. And like the white people know that they can use, just like the incident with the it was an incident I seen. It was two white ladies calling the cops on a black man and his two little boys. I said it was no older than maybe 7 years old, bro. And talking about he has an ID to be where he was at the pool. And it was a very nice place. I think it was in a condominium, they at the pool, and it's like, oh, do you live it? Because white people, they think we supposed to be broke, poor, and unfinancially literate ass people. So when they see us in nice neighborhoods, that's them. They're like, oh, you ain't supposed to be here. Show me your ID. Do you live here? Where's your house? Bitch, I'm not gonna tell you where I live because y'all might try to come kill me anyways. Fuck. So it's like, even when you do survive these kind of situations, egregious situations with white people, the system, this is what their system is for. This is what this is in place for, because they know they can call the cops. Most white people call the cops hoping that they'll get a racist one, so that way they can further do some fuck shit to whatever black person that they're harassing, bro. They'll call, sometimes a cop will pull up and they be like, bitch, you racist, get up out of here. And then sometimes they get that cop that's racist and they're like, oh yeah, we know you're on our side, get that nigga. You feel me? So woo, difficult world we live in. That's why I said all black people, black men, have we play life on the hardest difficulty, bro. It doesn't get harder than that. You know, even with the question when they ask him, does being black comes with is it an advantage or a disadvantage being black? And I say both. It's an advantage because nigga, we y'all know why it's an advantage. I ain't gonna get into that genetically wise, but also it's in historical wise at that too. But also it's a disadvantage because we live in a world, in a system, in a society that was mainly designed by white men, and it's designed for them to have a head start while we got to start all the way back. It's designed for them to get away with shit that you know, egregious shit like the white boy. It was a little white. It was some white boy raped the shit out of some girl and they didn't even charge him for it. The judge dismissed the case, and I think the girl was a white girl. It was a white girl. White boy raped a white girl, and then the judge dismissed the case. Like I said, look how they treat their own women as that. So it's like, bro, the whole system is just fucked up because look who it was designed by. It was designed by a fucked up individual called the white man. Man. W video, bro. W video. I know this shit was an hour long, but I had to bring this to y'all, bro. I had to bring this to y'all because, like, people need to know, you know, on both the black and the white community, this shit needs to be called out. We need to have these uncomfortable conversations, and this shit needs to be brought to the forefront. Now, yes, black people, we could talk about it, but when it comes to white people, they can't talk about it. They can't handle it. They can't handle accountability and responsibility for the shit that they do, the shit that they do, and still do to this very day, bro. And they want to ignore the fact that they still benefit off systemic racism. They still benefit off of the slavery that took place way back in the day. Oh, that was a long time ago. That, you know, that it's different now. No, it's not. Y'all benefit off that. How y'all think these railroads, how you think these houses, these buildings, all these highways was built, bro? This shit was not, and I'm not talking about in today. Of course, yeah, niggas, but back in the day, all them houses and all that was built by us because they had what? Slave labor, bro. Now, don't get me wrong, niggas still have to pay money, which is modern day, like it's basically sex trafficking, human trafficking. Human trafficking can be, and what do you traffic humans for? Either for labor or for sex, bro, or organs. Those three things, bro. And they still do that shit to this very day, and they try to hide it, talking about, oh, it's human trafficking, but the government is in on it. Y'all are making money off of humans, bro, being trafficked. It's sad, man. And the main people that is in human trafficking is what? Black people, bro. Yes, it's a lot of races out there that is being trafficked right now, but it's mainly my people, because who are the main people that come up missing in America and around the world? Our people, bro. Look what they doing to the people in Sudan, out there in Libya, out there in Ghana, out there in Africa, bro. They out there killing all them people and all them innocent black Africans in them villages, bro, and probably taking their organs, and then don't get me started. And then it's not just the black people. It's the brown people too, aka the Hispanics. Look at the ICE shit. They got these ICE facilities, which is concentration camps, and a lot of these brown Hispanics can't even speak. They can't even make outside. They can barely even make outside contact to their family members or to the world to let the people know what the fuck is going on in them facilities. You got ICE agents that's in there raping immigrant Hispanic little girls between the ages of like as young as like 7 years old, all the way up into the grown adult immigrant women. They're impregnating them, raping them, and impregnating them. And it's not being talked about because you got DT, aka the president, covering that shit up because the ICE is that's his own military, bro. All I gotta say is I appreciate y'all, I value y'all, and I love y'all. Please, my people, be careful. 2026, we are in a time, we are in Revelations, bro. And I told y'all, Gog and Magog. Go watch my video, Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog is a warning to black people, bro. Because these people are going to get worse with it. And they're trying to bring all this shit back. They want that slavery back. They want to be able to rape us again and get away with it. They want to be able to kill us again and get away with it. Hang us again and get away with it. Look at all the motherfuckers that don't came up hanging in just the past month. Not even a month, the past 2 weeks alone in America, bro. It's fucking disgusting. And so that's why I tell my people, stay, like he said, stay vigilant. Don't just be outside walking. If you're going to walk somewhere, walk in the motherfucking hood where's other black people at. Shit. Nigga might rob you, but a nigga won't kidnap you. I will say that. A nigga might rob you, be like, hey, let me get that shit off you, little nigga. Here, you can have it. As long as I get to keep my life, I can get all this shit back. This material, I can get this back. You can have it, nigga. But you go walk off in one of them rich neighborhoods where all them motherfuckers live at, you might come up missing. They ain't gonna rob you of your materialistic shit. They gonna rob you of your spiritualistic shit called your life, nigga. And you can't get that back. You can't get that back, nigga. So that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all need to be careful out here, especially to the black women. Don't just be out here taking walks and shit, especially if you live in a neighborhood where these people predominantly live at. Don't just be out here taking walks and shit and oh, it's good. Got your headphones on, listen to music, not even paying attention to your surroundings and shit. Nah, nigga don't kidnap you. One of these motherfucking Caucasoid men don't kidnap you. Now you don't came up missing, don't got butcher ate or whatever. God knows what egregious shit they don't done to you, bro. And it goes for black men too, bro. Look what they did to Ahmaud Arbery. Look what they did to Trayvon Martin. Look what they did to Cyrus Carmack. Look what they did to the brother up there in Detroit. Look what they did to Nolan Wells, bro. Look what they did to Nolan Wells. And then our children, bro. Look what they did to the 1-year-old at Walmart in Mississippi. The black lady was trying to tell him that I got the receipt. The cop, and she was getting ready to leave, but the cop wanted to pull his gun out and shoot at her car and end up hitting the 1-year-old kid, hitting the 1-year-old black child. Man, bro, it's sad and it's getting worse and worse. It's like, and now that white people is, not all of them, but the racist, bigots, violent, racist white people, now that they see that the system is like, oh, they're not even really doing nothing about it for real. Oh, I might just get 5 years probation. Now it's giving them more. It's enabling this behavior. It's enabling this behavior, and it's allowing it to become more prevalent now, bro. That's what I said. Nigga ain't finna play with me. You gonna get your shit smoked fucking around with me, bro. The only way you gonna be able to get me, bro, is if it's an angry mob of y'all. It's got to be an angry mob of them niggas in order for them to get me. And even then, that's still, because nigga, I ain't gonna miss. I'm just gonna say that. I ain't gonna miss. And shit, if it's too many of y'all, guess what? A bunch of y'all gonna come with me for sure. And if the rest of y'all that give me, oh well, my ammo, fuck it. Shit. If I got 1 bullet left and it's still about 10 of y'all after I don't drop 30 of y'all motherfuckers, I'm just taking myself out because death is better than bondage. I know that. Death is better than bondage, because I ain't finna play around with these motherfuckers. Boy, these motherfuckers is sick, boy. These motherfuckers will do some egregious. Bro, did y'all forget? During the medieval times, did y'all forget how they tortured they prisoners, bro? Motherfucker did something with them, they'll chop their hands off, they'll put one arm on, they'll tie this arm, tie that leg to a horse, and then have them all run separate directions, and then, ooh, these are master killers, bro. Go look at all the medieval torture shits that they did to their prisoners, bro. And that they was using on us during slavery. Man, I love y'all. Y'all stay in tune. Y'all stay vigilant. Like the brother said, y'all stay vigilant out here. Keep your pole close. Don't go nowhere with it. Nigga, I take my shit everywhere. When I say everywhere, everywhere. That motherfucker be right there next to me when I'm asleep, nigga. I ain't playing no games, nigga. Fuck. Everywhere. I don't give a fuck if I gotta go. I don't give a fuck if I just gotta walk 20 feet up the road to check my mailbox. That bitch on my hip, nigga. I don't give a fuck. That bitch on my hip. That shit in my backpack, nigga. I ain't finna, man, y'all stay vigilant because it's getting bad out here, bro. Do I believe it'll get worse? Maybe not, because this is 2026 and a lot of people ain't got time to play around with that shit. And like I said, you do got some of their people that is getting busy against their own people, but we need more because it's not enough right now. Put it like that. There's a lot of awakening going on amongst my people, and like I said, you got a awakening taking place with the white folks that's righteous in heart, and they not racist, and they starting to call out this shit against their own people. They starting to push back against their own people, but it's not enough. We need more, bro. We need more. So like I said, do I believe this shit is gonna get worse? It could. If niggas keep playing the silent game and play the complying game. Being silent equals complying, bro. Being silent equals enabling that behavior, bro. That's what I'm saying. So we need more. But other than that, I appreciate y'all. Like always, I'll be back with another one. One love, make universal. Love y'all. I'm out.